Well, good evening, everyone. We want to welcome you to our monthly school board meeting. This time, if you would please join us for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please join us for the pledge. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you once again. We do have a quorum. We're here to call the meeting to order. First item on our agenda tonight will be approving of tonight's agenda. Mrs. C, are there any changes to tonight's agenda?
No, sir, no changes.
With that being said, at this time we'd like to entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Ricky, second. Mr. Warner, are there any questions? No further questions. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. We are approved. Item number 4, approval of our minutes. We have several minutes that we need to approve. We will do those individually. First one will be July 14th minutes. At this time, we'd like to entertain a motion to approve. Kobe, second. Mr. Warner, any questions? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. The next will be July 22nd minutes. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion for approval. Ricky, second. Kobe, are there any further discussions? No further discussions. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. We approve. July 29th minutes. This time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve. Mr. Warner, second. Kobe, are there any discussions? No further discussions. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. And lastly, August 4th special call minutes. This time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve. Kobe, second. Mr. Warner, are there any questions? No questions. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. We are approved. Next item on the agenda will be our financials. We have June and July. Ms. Kim.
Yes, was able to go ahead and get June and July finalized since next month we'll have all the budget stuff. I was just trying to get ahead of the game. We are holding steady with over a 4-month reserve. Our revenue has started to, we're not getting ad valorem tax and those type of revenues right now, but we're holding our own with our sales tax revenue and all other revenues. So I look for us to finish the year strong, and I think we can approve both of these with one motion. I don't think they have to be separate, with the main one being, July.
Okay. With that being said, at this time, we'd like to entertain a motion to approve June and July's 2025 financials. Kobe, second. Brad, are there any discussions? No discussions. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. We are approved. Next item on the agenda, we have representative from Carr, Riggs, and Ingram. We have Mrs. Elizabeth Whitaker and Mr. Brian Free, who will come and share with us concerning our FY 2024 audit.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
It was all yours, sir.
I'm Brian Free. I'm a partner with Carr, Riggs, and Ingram out of our enterprise office. I'm the partner over the audit engagement for the board. Elizabeth Whitaker is with me, and Elizabeth is the manager on the job. She does the majority of all the work on the audit. But to start with, I'm going to get you to turn to page. There's no number here, but it's the first page. You go to page 2, you can flip back one. But this is our independent auditor's report issued as part of our audited financial statements. This is an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of assurance we can provide, and no discrepancies were noted there. You'll turn with me over to page 9. We'll hit some of the financial highlights for the 2024 fiscal year. Page 9 is the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance for the governmental funds, which all of our funds are governmental funds for the board. This statement shows the major funds, which are the general fund and the local schools. All other funds are combined together in one column. And for the year, we had total revenues of $22 million. $13 million of that total was state revenue. $3.9 million was federal money, and $4 million was local. We had expenditures of 19 million. We had a net increase in fund balance for the year, which of 2.3 million, which is a really good year for the board. And we increased our fund balance to $6 million by the end of the year. So, very good job on fiscal responsibility here by the board. If you flip over to page 11, this is more informational. This is the statement of revenues and expenditures and changes in fund balance for the general fund. And this shows our budget to actual results. And if you come down, our net change in fund balance was 2.8 million. And we actually had spent 915,000 less than we budgeted. So there again, we were fiscally responsible for that year. Just flip with me back forward to page 7. This is the balance sheet for governmental funds. This shows our assets, liabilities, and fund equity for the year. I'll just point out we had at the end of 24, $6.5 million in cash and 8.4 million in total current assets. Our total current liabilities were 1.6 million. And again, we had a total fund balance at the end of the year of 6 million. 4.5 million of that was unassigned and available for discretionary spending as the board sees fit. If you'll go forward to page 5. This is the statement of net position, and this is all activities and funds combined, and this is on the full accrual basis of accounting. The difference in this statement and the others that we went over, this is on the full accrual basis, so we pick up non-current assets, which would be primarily property and equipment, and we pick up non-current liabilities, which would be our debt and our pension liabilities. So if we look at going down, we had 27 million in total assets, 7 million in deferred outflows, which are related to our pension and OPEB. Our liabilities were almost 30 million. Our total deferred inflows were 7.4 million. And we had a net position deficit of 2.9 million, almost 3 million. The primary reason for that deficit is our net pension liability, which is $16 million. And I want to stress that doesn't really indicate any issues with our current operations. A few years ago, they required school boards to start adding that net pension liability to their books, but it doesn't impact the funding of the pension, so it doesn't impact our cash flow. If you'll turn with me over to page 13. This section begins the notes to the financial statements. These are organized. Note 1 is a summary of all the significant accounting policies that the board follows, and then there are other detail notes following that to give more detail to the financial statements. If you'll turn with me to page 58. The audit requirements for the board require us not only to undergo a financial statement audit, we also have to undergo what's referred to as a federal single audit. So our federal dollars that are spent are allocated by program, and we go through a risk assessment process and a major fund determination. And those entities who expend more than $750,000 a year in federal dollars are required to have a single audit. So this is the schedule of findings and question costs issued in accordance with that audit. And I'll just briefly go down the results of that. As far as the audit of the financial statements, as we said, we issued an unmodified report on the financials. We did identify material weaknesses and significant deficiencies, and we did note some non-compliance to the financial statements. Under the federal awards, type of auditor's report issued on compliance was qualified related to the one program that we tested. We did have some controls, findings over internal controls. And the program that we tested was the Education Stabilization Fund. And so I'll briefly go over the findings. The financial statement findings were item 2024-003, segregation of duties. This finding is due primarily to the size of the board and the limited financial resources that we have to go out and hire staff. In a perfect world, you'd like to separate three critical functions in a county. It's authorization of a transaction, recording of a transaction, and custody of an asset. In certain cases, we don't necessarily have enough personnel in a particular area that we always have optimum segregation of duties. And so we have to identify that risk and report that. It doesn't necessarily mean there's anything going on. It just means that we have an increased risk due to a lesser number of staff. And this is a common finding that you'll see on board for this site. Item 2024-004, procurement and competitive bidding. Monitoring the use of POs reduces the possibility of unauthorized purchase orders. And we also had some exceptions related to the state bid law. I will note that over the past few years, the Alabama bid law has changed multiple times. So it's critical that we stay in front of those changes to know what we have to do as far as the bids go. And basically, it's a case-by-case basis. We need to identify what funding, if we know ahead of time, is going to be spent. And then we need to follow the bid law as close as we can. And we're certainly available for consultation if the need arises, and Kim and I have spoken recently on a couple of issues. And related to the federal awards, item 2024-001, activities allowed and allowable. The condition that we noted, we didn't necessarily have controls in place that operated properly to ensure that our expenses were approved ahead of time for allowability. So I know that Kim and I have discussed that issue, and there's been corrective action discussed that will be put in place soon. And 2024-002, special testing provisions, wage rate requirements. Construction projects that were funded by ESSER funds, the stabilization funds, had a prevailing wage rate clause in the contract and then the guidelines. And so what that required you to do was to obtain certified payrolls from the contractor. When we initially went into that, a lot of this ESSER funding was pushed out early as part of COVID. The guidance kind of came after the fact, and so we had a finding such as this in a lot of boards, in which the ones that chose to spend that money over construction, so it's not an uncommon finding. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions that anybody may have.
I know you're talking about some about the expenses, purchasing it before we got approval.
Right.
And to what I think, talking to Kim, I mean, by them going and getting a PO and them giving them a PO for it, they were thinking that was, so that doesn't quite, that's not considered, or how the process should go out?
Typically, if your purchase order is your control for allowability, whoever is authorized to approve those purchase orders needs to be consulted ahead of time. Mm-hmm. And so we need to get that to the proper channels and get those approved before we go out and actually incur the expense. And in some cases, we had issues with the timing of that.
Our main issue was some projects were done using a work order number as the purchase order, and there wasn't a purchase order done, so the invoice came in before we were aware the project would be coming.
Okay.
But we've changed the whole work order and PO system.
And I'll emphasize, with the transactions that we noted that had that, there really was no question in terms of whether or not that would have been an allowable expense. It would have been. It's just the fact that we got the cart ahead of the horse a little bit on the approval piece.
Another question, board? So, Mr. Free, you would, obviously, with those discrepancies that you noted, we're in pretty good financial shape overall.
Yes, a very good year financially. Financial performance was very good for that year.
Well, I want to, we want to credit our CSFO and the thorough work that she continuously do to make sure that we appreciate her keeping us out of trouble. And we thank you for your thorough examination of our system.
And I would like to second, as far as Kim goes, her help's integral to us getting in and getting done on time, and I think she does a very good job for the board.
Anyone, Ms. C, anything?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you all.
On the report on the audit, like, can they contact Kim, can the public contact Kim and get a copy of it if they want a copy?
Yeah, she has a copy that the public can, if they want to contact her, she will be able, not this copy, but it's a square copy.
Right.
That's fine. Okay? Well, thank you so much, Ms. Kim. Once again, we certainly appreciate you. Let's see, next item on the agenda will be our superintendent's report. Ms. C.
So I received some certificates in the mail the other day from the Alabama School Board Association, and just want to take time to recognize all of our board from last school year. This is in recognition of completing all your school board governance Improvement Act training requirements. So we are 100% in accordance and standing. So thank you for your diligence in serving our students. So Reverend Clausell.
Thank you, thank you. Yes,
Mr. Brackett.
I'm official.
Thank you. Mr. Vital. Thank you. Ms. Morris. Thank you. And then, of course, Mr. Weeks is just coming on, and he has already started his, so I know we'll be 100% next year as well, so thank you for that. All right. I want to compliment our staff, our admin team is sitting here. We have had a great start to our school year. Last Monday, we had a successful open house. I would say 90 to 95% of all of our students' families showed up to an open house, so they come for that, and that's awesome. And we've had goodness, today's the 4th day of school. Awesome start to that. So thank you. Kudos to our staff for that. All right, if we could look at some dates for budget hearings, it's that time of year. Our next Board of Education meeting will be September the 8th. And if we could do one prior, would it be okay if we did it prior to that?
Well, I think we need to do the first one that day.
It
Okay,
has to be in the meeting.
Okay, gotcha. So we'll do it at the 5:30 meeting then, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Mhm.
And then board members, we talked about maybe September the 11th.
11 at that morning, please. Are y'all available
And-
September the 11th, board members?
And do we have to have the whole board here for that?
Uh-huh.
For the second
Yeah, you
verse?
got-
7:15.
No, it will be the same presentation that's done on that Monday, but we do have to have a quorum here for the second one to vote to approve the budget. I mean, the presentation will not change, but we do have to have a quorum, because that's
What
when
time
we'll
did your
vote.
thing start? At 9?
Oh, well, that was why we were doing it. I mentioned your thing.
Yeah, see, we won't even have to change clothes. We can
Right.
just go on to.
We can just do it at
Board,
church.
are you available?
Yeah.
Are you available, Courtney? 7:15? Ms. Marks? I'm sorry? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, next scheduled board meeting would be the September the 9th, and then, September 8th, I'm sorry, and then in the second half of the budget hearing will be, September the 11th at 7:15 a.m.
Okay.
a.m.
And that's all my superintendent's report.
Okay, well, we will turn it over to the superintendent for her recommendation.
Principals.
Well, can I get them after my recommendation? Is that okay?
Yep.
All right, so as part of the audit, one thing that we had to take a look at is setting some travel procedures and policies. And shout out to Kim, she's worked really hard and getting some things she has met, and then she and Reverend Clausell and Mr. Bracken and the four of us met to look at different procedures. And you'll see here on the board, this is what we are looking at doing. We looked at a lot of other school systems at what they had in place. Many of our protocols will still stay the same with how employees go about requesting for travel. Enlarge it. Oh, great.
No.
Yes.
And if anyone would like a copy of this, we'll make
Yes.
sure that you get a copy, please.
We have some copies over here.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, why don't we just pass those
Okay.
out?
Okay,
we
you
can
just
just
pass
pass
it
it
out, okay, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, all right. Apologize.
It's all right.
All right, so under the procedures and policies, this will actually go for employees and our school board. And so you'll notice under the procedure section that any overpayments will be refunded by the Board of Education. And we should limit our spending for school board members to $5,000 per fiscal year. And now, if they do not, if this is inside state training from AASB, there will be no kind of pre-approval. That'll just automatically be notated in our notes. And then principals, your employees, when they request to go, will still follow the same protocols with them, getting them to approve it through you, and then you'll send it to central office for me to approve. And keeping your receipts for your expenses and to be authorized. Kim, help me out.
Right.
What are some other things that, we've also set in about meal allowances. This is new. So you'll notice on page 2 about the eligibility for meals. And then about if it is over, I'm trying to look at the overnight stay.
It's
is-
$70 a
Mm-hmm.
day.
Okay,
$70
gotcha.
a day.
And how many miles? 75-mile radius. If it's more than a 75-mile radius, then, spend the night or overnight considerations can certainly be taken in.
And Ms. Seaman, if I may, one of the things that we wanted to have in place, and we just didn't have it before, is that all of our training, meaning the board training, will go through the secretary, your secretary. So she will be the one to actually register us for the classes. She will also be the one that would get our hotel room, so everything will go through her. And then, of course, we will turn in our travel to the board office, and of course, the approval for travel reimbursement will be signed off by the board president. And of course, any travel for the board president will be signed off by at least two board members. So this is a check and balances that we have incorporated so that we can obviously continue our transparency to not just the community, but also to our school system. So we're certainly grateful for this procedure. Like I said, there was nothing in place before. And we're so grateful that we have this opportunity, and obviously this was identified by the audit that we need to have a policy and procedure in place that will govern how we go about.
Many of our forms that we use, they're in collaboration with not only for audit findings, but also with our continuous improvement plans, and also for our SACS accreditation. We have to document trainings and things like that, so that's why we utilize a lot of our forms. Any questions about?
Yes, ma'am. On the, as far as the limits, the amount for the limitation for the amount for the board, do we have any feedback on the historical data that we have requested for the past 5 years, so we can actually get a historical analysis of that, so we can know what the board has spent over the last 5 years? Give us the historical information.
Did you just want what AASB has been paid over the last 5 years in registration?
We as us, Geneva City, for the historical 5 years, so we can look at our data.
I don't have access to that, here, but I don't know it, I can't pull it up from here to give you 5 years worth of data, but I can provide that, later on. I just don't have access to my software here to pull that up.
And based on we sat down, the four of us, and went over this. There's always, there was a $25,000 budget in place already, so we were not going to exceed that budget. So that's what we're basically doing now, is we're staying with the $25,000 budget that was already in place. We're just now will make sure that we are adhering to that budget. We divided it into $5,000 per person, where before it was not divided.
Yeah.
So they would give equal representation for every board member to attend training.
Ms. Marks, when we looked at it too, we looked at like what Mr. Clausell and Mr. Bracken did or proposed to do for this school, or this fiscal year, I should say, and it wouldn't go over the $5,000 with the AASB trainings.
Yes, ma'am, that was based off of one data point. I was asking for that 5-year historical data so we could have really, that would give us a baseline of what we have done historically. That's what I was asking for, that information for. Not that we could just base it off of one data point. You know, that's why I wanted that data, and that's why I requested it back in July, so I could, so we could look at that from that aspect. So we could look at it and get an understanding of where we were looking across the board, you know, over a 5-year period. And that way we would have an understanding of how we have been spending historically, not just from one data point. And, you know, that's all. But if we can get that, and I would just ask that we would be open to, if that data comes back and it is more than the 5,000, that we are open to, that we as a board have the leeway that we can increase that if it is over that 5-year, historically, say if it is $5,200, for instance, we have the leeway to say, hey, we can increase that, for instance. That's all I'm asking, that we do not, but say, hey, if it is $3,000, hey, we are okay financially. Hey, I don't mind if we say, hey, we're gonna limit it 3. I don't mind that. But I just want to know. Just say we have the historical data, we can just be using one data point.
I believe it's in place. If you go over that, you would have to go through for board approval. So if that is something that you're going over the 5,000, then you need to go before the board to get that
I understand
approved.
what it is, but I just was asking for that leeway if using the historical data. That's why I requested information back in July, that we do be able to do the analysis before we came to this board meeting to approve the policy. You know, that was more than 2.5 weeks leeway to do that analysis. That's why I asked for the information.
Now, to pull 5 years is gonna take me some time, and because we've had different, I'm gonna have to look up each board member, and then I'm gonna have to see what was paid to AASB for what board member, because we do pay dues to AASB. I can't just look at what we paid them. So it's gonna take me some time to dig up 5 years worth of.
And I specified, I didn't ask for the whole thing. I just asked for fall conferences, the fall conference, the winter conference, the spring conference, and the summer conference. So I didn't ask for all training. I specified those 4 conferences. You know, so that should help us limit things down. That's what I kind of wanted, so that we get a limit. If you look back at the email, that data.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
And the other thing I did want to ask, when we look at the, one of the forms, that final form that we had, I would just ask that the board members be added to that form, so that form is universal, not just the staff, for that, because I saw that the faculty, staff, administrators were added, the board members were not added.
Which form was that?
The one that had the professional, I think the workshop professional on that. The board members were not added at the bottom for approval on that. That way, you don't have to go back and try to recreate anything. The board members are added, so it's just one universal, regardless of who is going on the training. Board members are at the bottom and added as whoever. We're added to that as well.
Well, I didn't add that because the board members, per the policy, don't have to get pre-approval to go as long as it's AASB. And if it's not AASB and it's out of state, then it would be in the minutes. So I thought the minutes would be the pre-approval, and so we would not have to do the form.
No, the policy says that we need pre-approval.
No, it does not. It does not. It says that the board members does not require pre-approval for interstate, for AESB training,
The
interstate.
form, how she has that form, I'm sorry, not pre-approval, but when we get ready to approve the form, the school board members is not on there, so how do we approve as a board member? How are we approving Mr. Clausell if there requires 2 board members? That's the question. There's no place on there for a board member to approve Mr. Clausell's, travel. If you look at that form,
Are you talking about on the reimbursement?
on the reimbursement form. I just asked that the board, the slot be added just for school board.
Yeah, she's asking for a spot to put for a
Just add
signature.
school board members for signature,
For a
school board
signature.
member signature on the bottom is all I'm asking. That's
Okay,
what I was that's what I asked.
two
before.
more.
Yes,
Ma'am. That's what I was asking
we
earlier
can do that,
on email.
we can do that.
But then we that's what we discussed on
Mhm.
Yeah,
for
that's what I was
any
asking.
chairman, not, I mean, you're the chairman now, but for
Mhm, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what
the
I-
chairman would sign off on any board member, and then, of course, 2 board members would sign off on the chairman.
yeah.
So, yeah, if we could just add a slot there for that signature, or for 2 signatures, either chairman or board, to make sure that we get that in place. Okay?
All right.
So we need to approve that.
Yes, so with
Okay.
that, the superintendent recommends that the Geneva City Board of Education approve the Geneva City's travel procedure policy set forth before you.
Board, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent that we will approve the Geneva City School Board Policy and Procedure Travel form. This time, we'd like to entertain a motion to approve. Ricky, second. Kobe, are there any discussions? No discussions, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. We are approved.
The next item of business, the superintendent recommends that the Geneva City Board of Education approve the hiring of Miss Jessica Russell, RN, as a substitute nurse for the Geneva City School System.
Board, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent that we will approve the hiring of Miss Jessica Russell as a sub-nurse for Geneva City School. This time, we'd like to entertain a motion for approval. Brad, second. Ricky, are there any discussions? No discussions, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. We are approved. Thank you.
All right, and I guess we'll ask for admin updates now. All right, Ms. Mixon, would you like to start with our babies?
Sure will.
Okay.
All right, so we had start first. That is the kindergarten orientation for our new babies. We started with an assembly, lasted about 20 minutes. They were able to see who their classroom teacher is. We went over transportation, how important attendance is. We even informed them about the Alabama Literacy Act and how, we're starting to prepare them today for that. We dismissed, they went on to their homerooms, and the teachers took it from there. At our first faculty meeting, I prepared a presentation where, I just kind of communicated my leadership style, my expectations, the priorities and vision that I have for our school. The main thing, building relationships with the faculty and staff as, their new leader, and just student achievement, just continuing on that Northeast trend. We had a PD day where we had lunch and devotion. Open house went smoothly. Teachers made appointments. At the elementary school we do that. We just feel like that builds relationships between parents and the teachers, and just give them a good start and open up that communication. The first day went well. We worked out some kinks with our kindergarten babies, but that's to be expected. And we have started our beginning of the year assessments with STAR and iReady, and just getting adjusted to that new program. And thank you, Ms. Erica Wright, for helping us so much with that. That's all I've got.
All right, thank you, Ms. Mixon. Mr. White?
We're in good shape, middle school. Good start.
Good deal. Good deal. All right, Mr. Cruz?
Just echo that. It was a good start. We're doing assessments and getting started with Jumpstart test prep, and just ready to go. I'm sure Ms. Metz will talk about career tech and some of the things going on there, so I'll let her jump in on that.
Ms. Metz, if you'd like to give us a career tech update?
Our career coach, Ms. Henderson, has hit the ground running. She's doing an excellent job. She has military in the school this week, every day.
That's great.
She's been in several classrooms already, so again, kudos to what she's being involved with the children and learning the kids, and very, very pleased. So Career Tech, we're just plugging right along. The Focus Act, surprisingly, has been, pretty easy. The kids they have conformed to the policy and they put their book bags away. They're actually having a conversation and talking, and, I think that's been a good thing.
Wow. Awesome.
On question on the focus act, I mean, what's the, as far as the phones, are they keeping them in their bag, toting them around with them, what are they, or are they putting them in their, what's the, how are y'all handling it?
They're supposed to put it in their locker or leave it in the car, but I haven't seen any. Now, the
Right.
first day, I think, after the opening assembly, there was a few that had them in their pocket and they were
Yeah.
addressed or
Well,
whatever.
I mean, it's
but
gonna be a thing.
I went to the bathroom today purposefully trying to catch somebody between classes, and none of them had them out. So, they're
As I
fine.
walked through the buildings, I've not seen them. And I was there early this morning, and they were socializing in the courtyard, and not on
One
the
of the
phone.
teachers told me
so.
how great it was at lunch. They're using words.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is, it is.
The biggest thing that hasn't been settled is like Enterprise State, when they're coming down, I think this coming week in his wife's class for that dual enrollment, she said, they gotta have their phones. Because of the two-factor identification,
Yeah.
for the college. So we'll work through that when those college classes begin, but it'll be in a controlled environment and put it up when they're finished. And I didn't mention our teacher bill of rights. We got all the teachers have done their first 10 days and got those on file as well, so.
All right, so that's the school building staff, and I know how busy they are at the beginning of the year, and I didn't know until I stepped up to the district level, and wow, I didn't realize you hit the ground running in the summer. It is a busy time. So with that, Kim, do you have any updates?
No, just besides us, starting to work on the budget and onboarding all the new employees and sending information on the employees that have left us or helping retirees with insurance. There's just a lot that goes on in July and August that,
Many times I'm running them out of the building at 5:30 and 6 o'clock at night. I'm like, all right, let's go, let's finish up now. So,
but it will slow down it will slow down briefly once budget is over and the year's closed out. So we will be able to breathe a little bit around November.
all right, Ms. Wright.
We've had new babies come, especially at the elementary school. We've had a few leave. Kim is right, the budget, we don't have final numbers to create a budget with, but we will have a budget for you at the next meeting, somehow. It's been busy.
They normally do this every year, wait till the last minute, don't
The
they?
very last
yeah.
minute.
It's August, and I still don't have final numbers.
And I will say, there's other school systems that will have budget hearings earlier, and what they do is I think they just kind of look at a 3-year average and use those numbers to have the hearing and approve the budget, and then they handle it in the amendment. But if we did that, we would be way overstating some of the final numbers that we have gotten. It's great that we did, is it CIP? Not CIP. CEP in the lunchroom. But that has caused a loss in federal money. I mean, we want to feed, our children, but we don't do lunch applications, and so we don't pick up all of those people that would qualify for a free and reduced lunch, and that's what your federal money's based on. So our federal money will go, down. So we would rather have accurate numbers to be able to give to the board to know exactly where we are, instead of just trying to, manufacture a number that will work just for the sake of having a budget.
Okay, and lastly, Mr. Justice.
So yours is due sometime mine is September 15th.
Yours is a part of mine.
So we've had several projects, either coming to an end or just starting. One of the big ones coming to an end was obviously the lunchroom in 300 building, which we passed the final inspection on August the 2nd, I believe. There are a few things in the punch list that we've got to get done, but Mr. Don has been fantastic, staying on top of those guys, keeping that project moving. So that's been done. We've few things. We've started updating the camera system at Mulkey as the one that operated that for the past 5 years. It was in desperate need. That's been done. We've also cleaned up a little bit around campus. As y'all know, the dirt pile is gone. We had a speed bump out here that was trapping water. It was flowing down our stairway, and it was washing it out there at the football field, so we got that done. And for me, I'm in the process of learning, completing some training in child nutrition, which I'll be doing next week, transportation as well as safety. And I just want to take the time to thank the central office staff for what they've done for me, answering questions, telling me things, do this, do that. They've been great. They come in my office all the time. How can we help you? It's been a really pleasant experience, and you know, they've really welcomed me. So, been busy, but long way to go. We'll get there.
As with all of our staff, he's doing an excellent job, so
Awesome.
getting lots of projects worked out of the way, so thank you, everybody. And with that,
And we need to schedule our walkthrough, possibly in
September?
towards the end of
yes,
September.
I'll send you a few dates. I'll get with the principals and see if that will work with your schedules.
Okay, super, super. With that being said, anything?
We've added,
Yes.
starting this meeting,
Yeah.
we're now videoing the meetings, and they're gonna be posted on the website.
GCK12.com.
What, it mean, like 2 days, 1 day, how
I
long?
don't know. I don't know that we.
Work with us the first couple.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's probably just be a
Yes.
couple.
But we've had a lot of people say that, you know, they can't come to the work, or they get in late, especially that we're changing to 5:30. Some people get off work out of town and can't get here, so we were proactive to do that, so we can, people can watch it. So we're gonna post that on the
Website.
On the
School
website.
website, yes.
So it worked with a couple ones on that. On another note, I want to thank Miss Misty Waters, she for coming and speaking to us. Or Walters, I said Waters, but I meant Walters, excuse me. And bringing your concerns to light and everything. Ms. Tawana has actually made a response to the paper on that, but come to find out they want to charge us $800 to post it. So I asked her to bring some copies tonight for everybody that's gonna be here, that they could get a copy. And also, and no reflection on Miss, I think it's Miss Davis. I mean, she don't run the paper, all she does is do what she's told. So I mean, this is not a reflection on her whatsoever. But I'm hoping that they will post it. But I will tell Miss Davis publicly, if money's a problem, I'll pay for it to be posted. But that's all I've got.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Our next scheduled board meeting will be September the 8th at 5:30 p.m. And we will do it,
Well, I think we can have it back at the central office. I know Kim will have all the budget stuff, and if that's okay,
That's fine.
I think our setup, we can accommodate now
Yeah.
all these. So we'll go back to the central office.
Okay.
Okay.
With that being said, it's time I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn. Kobe, second. Brad, are there any discussions? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. We are adjourned. Thank you so much for coming.
And they do your, she does the thing, she puts things on there.
Well, let's go